What's up, everybody? We are back in the studio today. I actually got my stuff to work this time. Looks like we got some people rolling in here. So, just to give you a format of the webinar, I'm going to be teaching you guys some of the basics of AI and some of the prompts that I use and some of the tools that I use in order to make your life easier, mainly because any of the time that we can get back on our side is going to make life a lot easier on the client facing side when it comes to meeting with your clients face to face or over the phone. So, one of my philosophies when it comes to this AI is I always want to make sure that I'm reiterating that this is a time saving measure. It's a good idea thing to get your ideas into concise ways to kind of move through your day. But outside of that, also to make sure that you save time. So, whenever you get face to face with a customer or voice to voice with a customer, you can be very intentional and very cognizant of their time and being very intentional with what you're trying to do for them from a real estate perspective, which on that side will then make you level up because the clients will be like, man, this person's really, really on top of it. And on the back side of things, on the in the background, you're really leveraging your time through AI. So we're going to jump into that. I'm going to start things here in about I'm going to give it 2 minutes to let more people sign on. That way we've got some good engagement. Down at the bottom, I will share my screen. Oh, Lord have mercy, you can see, but down here at the bottom, make sure that if you want to ask questions, that you ask questions. Um, the chat, yep, hold on one sec. The chat is enabled, so if you want to chat, I'll drop in the chat AI. That way we get that going. So if you've got any questions on the fly, I will ask questions on the fly. If you see something that you have a specific question about, if it's not going to take me a bunch of time, I will answer it, but I am going to try to hit any questions that I have not answered at the end of the webinar and give you guys as much value as I can in about 45 minutes. Um, so again, I am going to let one more minute go. I hope everybody is having an awesome 2025 so far. If I type 2024 into my operating system one more time, I think I'm going to have a heart attack. My On the mortgage side, you put 2024 in, and it's like, hey, dude, you should have closed that year ago, that loan a year ago, and messes everything up. So it's been an adjustment into the new year. All right, make sure I've got a good screen up here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully everybody can see the screen here. Shoot me a chat if you can't see the slide that says AI Essentials for Real Estate Professionals. You see it? Awesome. Can everybody hear me? Give me a thumbs up or something in the chat if you can hear me. Nothing. Can everybody hear me? Microphone. You should be able to. I don't know. Maybe the chat is not working. All right. I'm gonna get rolling. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm gonna get rocking and rolling here. We got some people in at this point, and I don't want to waste your time. So, um, Essentially, what this webinar is to cover, I already reiterated that it's to give you some tangible tools in order to make sure that you can utilize AI to save you time on the back end. That way, you can be more intentional with your time with clients from a voice to voice or a face to face. Or if you do some Zoom calls or you do video tours, those kind of things, it's definitely something that you should be utilizing to save yourself time. And I'm going to give you a general kind of overview from a 30,000 mile view. There are a lot of tools. There are a lot of things outside of ChatGPT. Everybody, the kind of buzzword item out there right now is ChatGPT. There are a lot of different models when it comes to AI. There's a lot of different verticals with it. And I'm not going to get too granular with that. I'm going to give you some prompts at the end of this that are going to be prompts that help you save time, money, and leverage yourself more to make it look like you have a bigger team than you do. You might be a single agent, you might be on a team, but it will give you the leverage that you need in order to grow more with less time and less effort. And yeah, that's what we're all looking for. So if you don't know what AI is, if you haven't played with AI yet, it's essentially a computer learning based system. So they call it a long language model, an LLM. And essentially, what they've done is coded this long language model to understand inputs and then output based on what they've learned, different summarization of what you put into it, or if it's doing a Google search or something like that, it's going to articulate the data in a way that makes sense to you based on how you've prompted. So it's AI, artificial intelligence is the buzzword when it comes to all of this, but it's not necessarily sentient. So I don't know that you can call it intelligent, but it is a really, really awesome tool from a data analyzing standpoint, a social media standpoint, and just overall helping you with ideas and different things. So with that, we go to the next phase of this, which is how does it matter to realtors? We might have a couple of loan officers on here as well, but it's pretty interchangeable when it comes to how can you utilize it to leverage yourself and make more money. And the biggest thing with AI is to save time. You still want to be human to human contact. I'm a big believer in being very intentional from human to human, face to face, voice to voice. And this will allow you to use key data points to really wow your customers. So whether it's you've got something that records your calls and turns it into AI transcripts, which is a very, very good tool right now. There's a bunch of different apps that do this. There's a bunch of different CRMs on the real estate side that do this. But you can utilize that to when you're on client calls, the next follow-up call, you've got key takeaways and key points that you can hit with that client that'll go and give them wow factor. Because if you say, and they described that they've got a son that had a t-ball game and they needed to jet or whatever, you would be able to say, hey, how was Tommy's t-ball game, and did they win? Aren't they the Barracuda? So like you can get very, very detailed with your follow-up when it comes to customer follow-up if you are utilizing tools that summarize it. It can give you accurate insights. You might want to take data from the marketplace. If you're part of a realtor association, they might send out data on what the association did from a closed transaction standpoint, blah, blah, blah. You feed that data into AI, ChatGPT, whatever platform you're using, and then articulate that data either via newsletter to your clients or social media posts, those kind of things. And it can kind of map that out for you. And then from that, being able to stand out in the marketplace as a true expert in the field is going to be key, in my opinion, over the next decade, because there's going to be a lot of noise with AI and people trying to say that it's going to phase people out. I think it's a value add to people, especially on the real estate and mortgage side. But I don't think there's anything that's going to phase us out, at least over the next decade or two. And people are going to still want that human to human contact. So leveraging it to make you understand the market trends a little better. You might put a very complex thing into AI and say, "Hey, can you explain this to me on a better understanding level? This is too high level for me." And it will do that for you. It will whittle that down and help you understand a little bit better. So Biggest thing I see as a benefit when it comes to AI is automating administrative tasks. Things like coming up with a listing description. We've seen everybody using it for that. That's a very easy thing to use AI for. You can use ChatGPT, you can use these different platforms to help you with listing descriptions, but you can also take that a step further in your prompting. And prompting is really going to be the most important part when it comes to utilizing AI to your advantage. Um, you could take that listing description to the next level of, hey, can you also give me three options for text to follow up with somebody that might be interested in the listing, and make sure that the text is geared towards a buyer that's coming to me directly, a list or a buyer's agent that might be asking me about the property, and or another maybe an insurance agent that might reach out to you about the property. So you could have that pre-formatted out to where when somebody inquires on that listing that you have, you don't have to take the time to sit there and type out a big long response. You might already have that response formatted. So there's some of that automation type of stuff that you can utilize it for. Um, One of the things that I'm helping my agents that are premier agents here for Legendary Mortgage is we are building tools for our agents. So right now in development, I'm developing a CMA report that will be able to take the address and give you a CMA report with at least 3 to 5 comparables for that address that you plug in. So if you're a buyer's agent, you could plug in that address and ultimately have data in front of the client right when you're showing them the property and say, hey, here's the comparative market analysis on the property, and I have one for each one that we have a showing schedule for. So that's some of the kind of stuff that you can do with AI, and some of the stuff that I'm trying to develop with it as well. And then we have another one that I will be able to provide within the next couple of months that will take a contract, specifically a builder contract, and be able to analyze that for things like hidden things that you might not catch because it's 72 pages long, and we will be providing that to agents. But it's stuff that you can build on your own, and I'll show you at some point during the webinar here just how to prompt some of this stuff to start getting some of the responses out that you might want to see. And let's see, Q&A. All right, you can hear me. I don't know why the chat's disabled, but try to fix that next time. Um, so yeah, there's a bunch of different ways that you can utilize AI, and I will bounce over to ChatGPT here in the next minute or two just to show you what you can do with some of this stuff. AI for market research and pricing, that's what we were just talking about, in the sense that using it to feed in an address and make a search and then give you a comparative market analysis, taking the data from recent sales, pending sales, those kind of things, and creating something that you can distribute to clients that are in your database to specifically target to try to get them off the fence. One of the things that I'm helping a lot of agents with right now is targeting first-time home buyers, because if we have a rate drop situation, we still kind of have an inventory issue in a lot of markets. I'm trying to give them tools to get data out to these first-time home buyers to show them, hey, if you sit around for too long, you might get priced out of the market. Now's the time. I might be able to get you seller credits, whatever it might be. Let's not get you priced out because you don't have the funds. We've already talked about it, to go and then offer above asking and those kind of things. That's going to end up being a big problem. You can utilize this AI to create an email template with data to then send out to the client and try to get them off the fence. Another thing could be enhancing your marketing and lead generation. Kind of touched on that with what I just said, but it could be utilizing your database, feeding your database in, having it target the database in a way that, hey, which of these have not interacted with me in this many days? A lot of CRMs will do that, but it's not always the way that you want it. I know that a lot of people will bounce. I've bounced around to different CRMs through the years, and every one of them had a piece that attracted me to go to it, but then it was missing pieces. So a way that you could utilize AI to maybe get some of the reports that you want, or maybe utilize the database and the data that you've got, is to feed it into a system like ChatGPT and try to then start asking questions of that data set. So you offload all of your customers, pop them into ChatGPT, and then you can start asking ChatGPT questions around the data that you fed into it. So it could be who's my birthdays today. So then you're not clicking a bunch of buttons, and now it kind of becomes your assistant in that manner of who do I have that have clients that have birthdays today? Who of my clients are dog owners? I would love to shoot them a text about National Dog Day or whatever it might be. You can see how you can start leveraging time to save yourself time. And then lead scoring, that's kind of what I mean about chatting with the data and the database that you have, being able to kind of score those leads. Who's interacted with me in the last 7 days at least 3 times? And then you can tell it, hey, anybody that's done that, score the lead at this. And then you can create your pitching order for that day if you're the type of person that likes making calls, which I would encourage you to make calls if you're in the real estate industry. Then you can go and take that database and then now score the leads and really be pounding the people that you've had the most interaction with. Um, so it's great for that. I've been utilizing it for that quite a bit. And then improving your customer experience. If you've got a dedicated IDX feed or website, you could embed a chat bot that if somebody had a question about a specific property because it's combing that website, they would be able to get some information on that property and then ultimately have that chat bot schedule an appointment on your calendar. So there's the sky's the limit with this kind of stuff. So I do want to pop over to ChatGPT for just a second and show you kind of how it works in a very short period of time, and give you some key points on kind of how you need to be prompting this if you want to utilize it for different things. So one of the things that I utilize it for is social media ideas or formatting a guideline update on the mortgage side in order to get information out to my realtors on social media or my loan officers. But I will give you an example of the one of the CMA ones that I've got. So essentially, I built this custom GPT. I said, generate a CMA for this listing and what should be offered on that property based on the CMA. So then from there, it accurately is pulling the recent sales in that neighborhood. And this is a custom one that I built, so I can provide you access to that if you want to test it. It's not done yet, but I would love to have some beta testers giving me feedback on that. So after this webinar, I will shoot out an email to everybody with a PDF that's got some prompts on it, another PDF on how to get GPT to understand your brand voice and who you are. And then it will start asking you questions about who you are and what your business is and those kind of things. You have a conversation with it. And then after that, you've got a marketing assistant right out of the box, that you're not spending a ton of money for a virtual assistant, and it can do things for you like social media posts, listing presentations, all of that kind of stuff. So as you can see from the CMA one, there's there's links to where it found this data. It's giving me some recommendations. It's telling me, hey, we would typically offer in the 515 to 530 range. And for what I've seen, it's been fairly accurate. I'm still coding it on the back end to utilize more websites to get more data and those kind of things. So there you go. That's the CMA report. One other way that you can utilize something like this is if you had something update in the real estate world that you think is valuable to your database. One of the things that has changed in the mortgage world is USDA is now going to allow existing home manufactured 100% financing. So I wanted to create something for my loan officers that would ultimately articulate this data in a very understanding way. And I was able to prompt it with the link and say, hey, tell me what changes happened with USDA prior and after the change. So it's cool for things like that. But really, where it can be helpful on the real estate side is from a marketing perspective, being able to utilize it to kind of become your assistant on the marketing side. Um, So I will grab a prompt and feed it in here so you guys can see this real time, what I utilize this for. So marketing, NARS. This is the Realtor marketing assistant. So this is the prompt that I was describing here. Basically, you're now a seasoned marketing assistant for my real estate business. Things that I need you to work on are ideas for social media posts, playbooks for follow up with clients, yada yada yada. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy and paste this into a new chat. That way I can show you how this starts to interact. And you will get this prompt after the webinar. That way you can copy and paste it into your chat GPT if you have one. I would highly suggest signing up for GPT Pro, or not Pro, but the paid version, which is $20 a month, and that's going to give you access to all the different models, 4.0, 01, mini, some of the different models in respects to how AI is working. So 4.0 is the one that I use the majority of the time. Essentially, what 4.0 is it will create images, it will analyze data, it will do a very good job at being this marketing assistant. Whereas 01 is one of their advanced reasoning models, which is good for things like analyzing spreadsheets, analyzing contracts, analyzing data. 4.0 is more suited for everyday tasks, more suited for something like this marketing assistant. So from there, it's going to start asking, totally understand. I'm going to start, and it starts asking me questions about my brand. So then after this, what you would do is you would start answering these questions for GPT. And as you answer these questions, it's going to then build out a brand voice. And then from then on, it's going to understand who you are, how you market, what you do. So whenever you come back in here and say, hey, I need a good social media post about how higher interest rates are affecting the real estate market. And then you'll see from there, boom, it's going to initiate this social media post. I know I've seen a lot of people utilizing this, but what you want to do, and again, the main thing that I try to do whenever I'm coaching people on AI is don't lose the human aspect of this. So if you come in here and you just copy and paste this thing into social media, you're not going to get the kind of engagement that you want, because these social media outlets are starting to understand and be able to tell whether or not it's AI, and then that will affect your engagement from a social media standpoint. So what you want to do is you want to take this, you want to proofread it, and if it's not all the way you, then you need to continue to prompt the AI to the point to where it writes like you do. Because something like this, because I haven't answered the questions for the AI assistant from a marketing perspective, it has not got a brand voice that would not be grabbed by social media and flagged as AI. But if you answer those questions and you really go through answering the questions to build your brand voice, it will begin to write like you, and then it'll be very hard for social media outlets to detect that it's AI. So some of the tall tale signs that it's AI is too many emojis, um, using words that you wouldn't otherwise use in your day to day vocabulary. The big thing that I tell people all the time is the last thing that you want to do is utilize this AI in such a way that once a client actually speaks to you, they know instantly that you haven't been making these posts and that you essentially have kind of duped them. So the reason why I say that is because I think what a lot of people will do from a sales perspective over the coming years with AI is they're going to completely lose their individuality, and they're just going to be regurgitating whatever this AI is telling them to regurgitate. I think that you need to utilize it to save time, but it also needs to be in a way that it's got your brand voice, so you can still continue to be authentic and understand the subject matter that's coming out of it. The funniest things that I see, and I will comment and or DM some people sometimes, is whenever I see somebody post something that it's clearly AI, and then I comment on their post and they can't articulate the topic in a way that makes any sense, or they can't at all because they didn't read up on what they posted about. They just wanted something to post about, so then they posted it to social media. So please make sure. One of the things I'm starting to see a lot is people targeting investors, and they will put a post out there. Real estate's really great to invest in. We've got a lot of great properties that can give you a great return on investment, and blah blah blah. And they've clearly made this post from AI. Then you call them and you start having a direct conversation with that agent and asking them, hey, I see these couple of listings that you've posted. By chance, do you have something that you've calculated the cap rate on that property? Would you mind providing me your spreadsheet on how you calculated the cap rate and how you're going to calculate the ROI on my money? That's a very advanced investor for sure, but that is going to happen to you if you start opening yourself up to a certain demographic or niche when it comes to a type of business. You're going to get people that call you, and then they're going to ask you questions that you're not prepared for because you're not reading the material at the same time as posting about it. So that's something that I'm very, very passionate about. If you're going to post about this stuff, you can utilize AI to help you understand it better, but don't just regurgitate what you put in there just because you want to target investors because it's investor season and it's winter, there's more inventory on the market, they'll get a better deal. You need to understand the actual topics that you're posting about, and that's where maintaining the human factor, utilize this to save you time. You still need to be an expert in your field. That way, whenever they get you on the phone, you are really wowing them because you can utilize things like this. I've got a cap rate calculator that I can provide to you. So you can plug in all the data into it and it will calculate the cap rate for you. And then you can have a very intelligent conversation when it comes to investors. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with this. There's a lot of different ways that you can leverage your time and your energy to make your life easier. Um, Let me pop back over here. We talked about that, engaging property descriptions. Um, you can do things like image recognition and virtual staging. There's a lot of companies out there right now that have begun the AI virtual staging piece. A lot of our photographers in different areas, not everybody's from my geographic area, but there are a lot of photographers that are adding this as a value add on to the pictures that they do for you. But there are a lot of services out there on the internet now that do virtual AI staging and allows you to do that. A lot of them, because it's a fairly new technology, are very expensive. I've seen some of them in the north of $10 a photo. So you really need to sign up for a couple of them, see which ones work well. I've seen a couple of them just completely change the colors of rooms and different things like that. So you need to make sure that you're really testing it out before you start utilizing it for customers. The other way that I could see utilizing virtual staging or some of those types of systems is to help a buyer. And I don't think anybody's really doing this. And if you got good at this, this is kind of an insider trick that I would like to see more people doing, is after you show a buyer a property, if you can kind of tell they're the type of person that really just can't see it, they're not a visionary, they can't see how their furniture is going to fit, and they're just looking at it from a sterile standpoint, it would be really good if you got good at these systems to be able to plug that in and say, hey, I could tell, and when we were talking, you couldn't really see the vision of how furniture would fit into this room, or how your furniture would fit into this room, or something like that. You would then be going another step above anything else that anybody else is doing in the marketplace. And with AI, it probably would take you 3 to 5 minutes to create something like that for them. So one of those things that if you're really thinking outside the box with this AI could help you leverage and stand out from the crowd. Transaction and contract assistance, we talked about that a little bit. Using AI to analyze a builder contract, I actually use this quite a bit. just to see when their financing contingency is in their builder contract, how many days do I have to get them a commitment on the realtor side. If we don't close, if for whatever reason the buyer didn't close on time, even if it was cash, what's the per day charge that they're going to charge? There's just a lot that goes into the builder contracts and a lot of new construction out there. So it's a great way to save time on that side. You can utilize it in your CRM. There's a lot of CRM pieces out there that you can connect to your CRM, and then it's an app on your phone that can directly chat with your CRM. And I'll provide you with a couple of those examples on the PDF that I'll send to you after this. But that's I think the next phase for realtors that I think will start being integrated into a lot of the CRM platforms is a direct chat feature to where you're not having to bounce around to a bunch of different places within that CRM. This technology is out there. There's just not very many CRM companies that are embedding it and building it into their technology out of the box. But there's third-party companies that you can then attach to your CRM that will do this. And if you want to spend the money to do that, it's not cheap. Um, I can tell you it will save you a ton of time. I know quite a few realtors that are using that technology um, on a regular basis because they just pull up their phone and they say, "Hey, I had a client that interacted with one of my listings on my website. Can you please set a reminder on my calendar to text or call them at 3 p.m.?" And this essentially this app on their phone is an AI assistant that then goes and puts all of that data into their CRM or brings the data to them and says, "Hey, yes, this is the person's name, and here's their phone number so that you can text them." So there's the sky really is the limit with this stuff, and utilizing it in a way to save yourself time and energy is definitely going to be the future. Um, we started talking about the GPT prompts. I'll bounce back over here, um, and let me pull up the other set of prompts that I have. So this is the 10 prompts that you'll get at the end of this listing description. I'm going to give you a prompt for social media, market trend summary, follow up email. So one of the things on this is email drafting. It can save you a ton of time on it. I hate typing a big long email when it to a client to try to summarize things about their loan or something like that. A good thing that you could do is take something like they wanted a recap of the listing that you took them to, and you could take all of the MLS sheets that you have saved to your computer or saved to their profile and send them a really concise recap of all the properties that you saw. And if you took some notes on it, the positives and negatives that you noticed about the properties, and or the positive and negatives that they noticed that they told to you, and then now you have this email back to the client right after you showed them five, six properties, because human beings' attention span, and I've lost you multiple times during this, the attention span of a human being is 8 seconds. So they could have already forgotten about the first house that you showed them because you're now on house seven. And an email like that would be really beneficial to them to recap all of the properties that they saw that day, the key features, those kind of things, and a link to those properties. That way, whenever they get back to wherever they're going, if they're a spouse or single, whatever, and they're having a discussion about those properties, it's very easy for them to reference back on what they saw. So those are some of the things that I see a lot of agents using, and a lot of the coaching that I'm doing to help them with this. This is how they're utilizing this system. And you could see it's extremely fast. It's extremely thorough, and definitely can save you a lot of time. I'm going to take 60 seconds. If you've got any questions, drop your questions in the question and answer. It says Q&A. If you hit the more button on your screen, there's a Q&A button, and you can ask some questions on that. If you want to to be able to ask it live, I can cue you in to be able to ask it live. But drop those questions. I can see them. Be happy to answer those questions. So then from this, um, there's I think we got one. Nope. Somebody was typing, but no question came through. So I'll keep moving. So I showed you the prompts. I'm going to provide those prompts to you at the end of this: listing description, social media content, market data, and different captions. It could be something like you are getting into the video side of things. One thing that I have seen some agents absolutely crush on is YouTube. If you're not utilizing YouTube in your real estate business and you do like doing videos, I would urge you to start a YouTube channel and start doing videos, because if you go and Google any property in your geographic area, there's probably one or two agents in your marketplace that are actually doing it. And guess what? It's free SEO, because if you do the title of the YouTube video correctly, YouTube is owned by Google. Most everybody uses Google as a search engine. That video is going to be placed at the top, and you're going to have paid nothing for that SEO. That is a insider cheat on the real estate side, that if you can get comfortable with videos and you can use AI to then search and look at the highest performing subject lines in respects to real estate, then you can just go copy what people are doing. And if you're in a market where not many people are utilizing it, you could see your reach expand rapidly. And I know a couple of agents in my geographic region that are averaging anywhere from 10 to 20 leads a week off of their YouTube channel, because they've been consistent with it. They go live on it. They feature neighborhoods, new neighborhoods. It could be any multiple things, and they're doing really well with it. Um, so then you can take AI to go do that research for you on what you need to name these things from a search perspective, in order to then get the highest result for your YouTube video. So you could go, can you give me a caption and subject line that will perform well for YouTube in respects to SEO, etc. So then it's going to SEO optimize your YouTube caption that would go with this video about how rates could be affecting the real estate market. Something like how higher interest rates are changing the real estate market in 2025. Somebody goes on to Google, types in, hey, what are interest rates, or how high are interest rates, or how are interest rates affecting real estate? Are interest rates changing? You have a very good likelihood of getting that video on the top of Google or in the middle of Google where they place YouTube, um, without spending a single dollar on ads or SEO optimization or any of that. It truly is organic reach through search engines. Everybody talks about organic reach in social media. This is a way that you can gain organic reach on search engines without paying for it. And it's a great way to do that. So, with that, data research, we've already talked about all of this. I bounced around quite a bit. And property descriptions, that's the last part of the webinar here. And I want to make sure you don't open yourself up for liability, because we all know that we don't want any more liability than we've had based on all of the NAR crap. So one thing that you need to make sure of is that you're never putting PII data into ChatGPT unless you have the workplace version, where it's your encrypted workplace. It doesn't go into the cloud for ChatGPT, because that is a major data security issue. And to be honest with you, this is a big problem in AI right now, is the data security and the ethics of it and how it can be utilized, and making sure that you're not giving information of your clients out to people that could gain access through it through the API, You want to make sure that you don't do that. So make sure if you're on the paid version, but it's not a workplace version, that you do not put PII data of your customer into the chats. That's just a good CYA on your side. Um, Make sure that you are using data security. Make sure that you are not putting things in like driver's licenses where it could get the address of your client, yada, yada, yada. Be transparent about using AI. I think that this is something that could help you with your customers. Make sure that you're not utilizing AI to do your job. You want to utilize AI to make your job easier, but not to do the human to human client facing aspects of your job. There's a lot of people that are starting, and I saw a famous video that's gone all over TikTok of a real estate company in Dubai that took the voice of their agent. So their agent was on a podcast. They took their voice of their agent, loaded it into a system called 11 Labs, and then had 11 Labs tied to a phone number. And a client called in and had a conversation with what they thought was their agent, and actually was not. I would not recommend utilizing it in that manner, because it's going to get very easy for people to be able to pick this stuff out unless it advances to a place to where it's so fast that it can respond the same quickness as a human being, which might be later down the road. But just make sure you're utilizing it in order to be very intentional and very good from a human to human contact. So getting started with AI, you need to get a ChatGPT login. You need to make sure that you go and sign up for um, something called 11 Labs. Not to utilize your voice, but it is good for YouTube videos. If you aren't good with video, you could create a faceless YouTube channel about the market that you're in and just utilize a voice from 11 Labs. There's a lot of other AI platforms that you can use. There's a AI platform called Claude. Claude's actually really good at creating social media posts that really do sound human, um, and is great for that. AI is going to expand gradually. It's been rapidly advancing, but I think the utilization of AI I think is expanding gradually. I don't think as many people are adopting it as what we think. And I actually heard a pretty crazy statistic when it came to who you would think is using AI and how they're using it. So you would think that would be the millennial, the Gen Z, and those type of people that are utilizing AI. They're actually just utilizing AI to enhance their social media profile to make them look more famous than they are. Gen X and the boomer generations are actually the generations that are utilizing AI to create tools that make their life easier, more often than the younger generation, believe it or not, because in my opinion, I think it's because we remember how hard it was to create something like a website. I'm saying we because I'm very, very late millennial, but um, I think we're people are remembering how hard it was to create a website, how hard it was to create a company, how hard it was to create all these different things. So when somebody that has gone through that in their life has created this stuff and they get into this and they see how fast they can do things, they get really excited and start utilizing it to make money. And believe it or not, boomers and Gen X are doing that more than millennials. So definitely want to get on and start utilizing it as much as you can. Um, when do you think your CMA model will be ready? Um, I would say within the next 2 weeks. I think I could have it working well enough to be a good resource. I don't know that I would necessarily utilize it in a full capacity to make offers and those kind of things. But Marco, I will share it with you because I can share the link to it and give you access to it as long as you've got a GPT paid account. And if you'll test it for me, just give me feedback. That would be awesome because that'll help me work out the bugs um, on the CMA and just make it better over time. Um, and I think it'll be really good over time. So yeah, I've got everybody's email. I'll shoot an invite for that CMA to everybody that's been on the call. And if you could give me feedback, just shoot me an email. Hey, looks like it's working really well. Hey, looks like it's off by about 10%, whatever it might be. Just give me feedback on it, and I'll be able to code it a little bit more and help make your life easier. All right, we've got we've got a few minutes. Ask some questions. Ask away. You want to see something that I showed you? You want me to slow down on a topic? Hopefully, you got some value out of it. The question and answer place. If you got value out of this, please just drop it in there. Say yes, yes, I did. If not, sorry. But overall, I'm going to drop the PDFs to you guys in an email. I'm going to drop the slideshow in the email to you, and also the recording of this call in an email to you guys for being on live. Um, how far away is the new build tech you talked about? Um, some of the stuff that I've talked about a little bit further out. The CMA is close. I'm almost done with that one. The contract analyzer, I'm almost done with that, and I'll be distributing that as I get it done. The contacts, the for the app, that is already something that a company has created. It is something that's in the marketplace right now to where you can attach it to your CRM. They work with a lot of major CRMs. The name is escaping me right now, and I don't have it pulled up, so I will. But it is on my PDFs, and I will include that in the email to you guys. But that is a functional technology that is working right now, and like I said, it's an app that you download to your phone, you sign up for their service, they go into your CRM, they link it through API, and then that allows that app to then talk to your CRM and talk to all of the data that's in your CRM. It is really, really, really good, and a huge time saver. It's something that we're implementing in on my mortgage business side. We will be integrating that app into what we do. That way, our loan officers will be able to just jump on their phone and say, "Hey, who do I need to reach out to today? Which of my files still need appraisals ordered? Which of my files have appraisals ordered? Which of them are back? Which file is in this stage of underwriting? Are there any files that have been sitting too long?" They'll be able to chat with that, and it will give them real-time data based on what's in the CRM and what's in our operating system. So we're pretty excited about that on our mortgage side, but it is definitely useful on the real estate side to make sure that you're interacting with that CRM in a quick way. I don't know how far along. I know that you're able to pull from CRM data. I don't know how far along that company is on the push aspect of it to where it makes notes in the CRM. I know that that is on the roadmap. I think that it might be out, but I will have to do some more research on that, and I'll of course provide the name of that company in the PDF that I send out to you guys. Any other questions? Did you get something from this? Are you going to utilize this in your day-to-day activities now? I promise you it will save you time. It will definitely make you more money, and it will definitely help you from a professionalism standpoint reach out to more clients. The next phase of the webinar, this is the basic. I'm going to do another more advanced AI webinar on a specific tool in the coming weeks, and specifically generated for realtors. So I will be talking on a specific tool. I haven't decided which one yet that will ultimately save you even more time and get more granular with it and have it to where it's a more open dialogue. So this is webinar format. That class will actually be a more Zoom format so you can in real time live ask questions about what I'm going over, and make sure that everybody that's on that call truly understands the tool or the topic that we're going through. So thank you. Hope you got something from it. And if you did on the original post on Facebook or however you saw this, please leave a comment. Share the video with somebody in your office if you got something out of it. And of course, if you need anything mortgage related, we are Legendary Mortgage. I'm the founder of Legendary Mortgage. We've got 11 loan officers that are licensed all over the Southeast, and they would be happy to help you in any way that they can and drive some value to what you're doing in the day to day. Got all the major products. Don't want to bore you with that, but we're confident that we will provide a better service than what you might be getting with your current referral partner and drive value through some of this kind of stuff at the same time. So thank you so much. If you're not working with a legendary loan officer at this point, make sure that you start working with them soon and stay tuned for more webinars in the future. Thanks so much, guys.